Surely you'd agree with me that Harry Potter is one of the most imagination-stirring works of all time. Not only children but even adults are captivated. It's a mesmerizing world of magic, complete with spells, fascinating sports, unique races, and countless other captivating elements. Have you ever thought that the real human world holds charms no less enchanting than the wizarding world? We don't have magic, no spells, nor can we fly, but we possess mysterious creatures. Indeed, mystical creatures have always coexisted alongside the human world, becoming the subject of endless debates everywhere. No one knows what they truly are, where they come from, or why humans can never detect them. Welcome to the next part of the Primordial Universe series, exploring the world of mystical creatures. This is where we explore every aspect of one of today's most fascinating topics. Episode 1. The Bloodsucking Demon and Bigfoot the Savage. The first creature, and perhaps the most terrifying one I want to tell you about, is the chupacabra. According to legends and common descriptions, the chupacabra is depicted as a kangaroo-like creature, with sharp fangs and blood-red, glowing eyes. The first person to see the chupacabra described the creature as being about 1.2 to 1.5 meters tall, walking on two legs, and having a row of small spines running down its back. She has long, slender legs, delicate arms, and a unique head unlike any other creature on Earth. The chupacabra moves in an extremely bizarre way. There was a monster that moved in kangaroo-like leaps and emitted a strong sulfurous stench. This distinct scent is their weapon, paralyzing their prey and leaving it unable to struggle or cry for help as its blood is drained. Sometimes, the chupacabra displays terrifying strength by knocking down a 5-meter-tall iron gate to break into livestock pens and hunt its prey. However, the descriptions sometimes don't entirely match, with some witnesses claiming the creature resembles a kangaroo. Other witnesses describe them as resembling a rabbit, a dog, or even a giant bat. Others claim that this monster is extremely aggressive, possessing a long, snake-like neck and even the ability to fly. The first attack believed to be carried out by the chupacabra occurred in March 1995 in Puerto Rico. In this attack, all 8 goats died in an extremely bizarre manner. Each animal had 3 deep wounds in the chest and was drained of blood from the heart. The mysterious monster slaughtered numerous livestock in the village of Calavanas and the surrounding areas, then drained their blood completely. When the villagers discovered the livestock lying dead in disarray on the hill, they had already turned into bleached skeletons. According to the veterinarian's examination, it appears that all the blood was drained through just 1 or 2 very small wounds, each about 7 to 10 centimeters in diameter. Several years later, in the remote region of Tulancingo, Puerto Rico, farmers witnessed their livestock being attacked and completely slaughtered by a monster. Just like the first attack, all the animals in the town were drained of blood and left right at the scene. All died in a curled-up position, leaving behind only skeletons wrapped in withered, dried skin. Over time, successive attacks occurred in various regions across the United States, from California, Texas, and Miami to Tucson, Arizona, even spreading to Mexico. One must mention the most shocking attack in the state of Miami. In just one night, an entire herd of 69 cattle belonging to a farmer in the town of Sweetwater was completely wiped out. All the victims had identical bite marks on their necks and were completely drained of blood. Not only in the US, but even in Russia, many farmers live in constant confusion and unending fear. They asked the local priests to bless their livestock, fearing that a legendary blood-sucking creature was behind a series of attacks on their livestock. Does this monster truly exist? Where does it come from? And why is it so ferocious? We'll know once we get there. Numerous hypotheses have been proposed to explain the origin of the name chupacabra, starting with its etymology. The mysterious creature was first mentioned in Puerto Rico, but its victims were livestock found dead with bite marks. The victims all had deep puncture wounds to the carotid artery, indicating their method of killing was blood drainage. Goat-sucking blood demon. Many believe the chupacabra is simply a wild dog, but there are also numerous claims insisting it is a mysterious blood-sucking creature. Once, there was a rumor that the chupacabra monster had been run over by a truck while crossing the road. An American animal research expert was invited, but has not yet made an official confirmation. The creature captured by the people of Tula Shingo was just an ordinary gray fox, not a blood-sucking goat demon as the rumors claimed. This fox has mange, which caused all its fur to fall out and its skin to turn a dull gray. The fox with mange is often prone to death, so it may have already been severely weakened when it was trapped. But at that time, the local people still refused to believe the truth. They firmly insisted that the chupacabra was real. Some people believe that the chupacabra is merely an urban legend, and it only gained global popularity due to the spread of the internet. In 1995 and 1996, around 200 survey teams and hunting squads went to Puerto Rico to track down the monster, but ultimately achieved no results. A researcher claimed that around the mid-2000s, all mythical creatures were collectively referred to as chupacabras. Wolves with mange, bizarrely killed American pandas, or schools of dried-up fish dead in Mexico. None of these have any connection to the mythical chupacabras creature. Slightly unusual, In 2011, American scientists published a study revealing that the mythical creature chupacabras was actually just foxes suffering from mange. To further support this claim, researchers collected some remaining skin samples of the animal after it attacked livestock and sent them for DNA analysis. The final outcome left all those who believed in the chupacabra disappointed. That specimen is completely normal, nothing special at all. The elderly man asserted that the creatures suspected to be chupacabras found in the US, primarily in Texas and New Mexico, were actually just dogs, foxes, or coyotes suffering from mange. So where did the wounds on hundreds of sand bubbler crabs come from? Why do foxes or wolves suck the blood of livestock? I also don't believe any farmer would willingly sacrifice their valuable assets just to stage a sensational incident. Those who believe in UFOs lean toward an even crazier hypothesis. They believe that the chupacabras might be an extraterrestrial creature, but not one with a human-like form. Perhaps the animals the aliens brought with them escaped from the spacecraft when it landed on Earth. It's no coincidence that the US military established the secret Arecibo base in Puerto Rico to verify and monitor unusual visits from outer space. Whether you believe in the existence of the chupacabra or not, we must still admit that this is an unsolved mystery with no satisfactory answer. It deserves to be regarded as one of the most terrifying mythical creatures in human history. When it comes to mythical creatures, leaving out Bigfoot would be a significant oversight. Though not as terrifying as the chupacabra, in terms of fame, Bigfoot completely dominates, no comparison needed. For a long time, stories surrounding the Bigfoot incident have remained a hot topic, drawing significant public attention. This object is described within the bubbles of the Bigfoot object. This creature is described in reports as having an ape-like appearance, standing about 2 to 3 meters tall, weighing over 230 kilograms, and covered entirely in dark brown or black fur. Bigfoot often has rich flavors but comes with an unpleasant smell. But the giant footprint discovered was many times larger than that of an ordinary human foot. Supporters argue that this is a sedentary species primarily active at night. In reality, countless different versions of Bigfoot appear in stories around the world. In the Himalayas, there is a creature called the Yeti, called Sasquatch, while in the western United States, Thus, this species has a wide variety of types, is distributed across many regions, and can adapt to most common habitats. In the small town of Lebanon, Tennessee, USA, there exists 45-year-old evidence proving the existence of Bigfoot, a creature that terrifies anyone who hears its tale. Can you believe it? It was a bizarre head with snow-white fur, covered in dust, placed on the window of the Antique Bones Center right in the middle of the main square. Her skin was a deep ocean blue, speckled with black streaks like snake scales, stretching over high cheekbones that made her lipless mouth appear even more bizarre. On this head, the only thing that resembles a human is probably the set of teeth. The head of this mysterious creature is tied to local legend, known as the Highway Monster, a famous ghost story in Tennessee that continues to haunt many to this day. According to local accounts, on a late night in January 1989, the adulterous couple hurried back home to avoid being caught by their spouses. When they turned onto the dark road, they hit a strange creature they didn't even notice. The man initially thought he had hit a deer or a small animal. However, when he stepped out of the car and lit a torch to check, he realized it wasn't a person but a heavily furred animal of an unknown species, long dead. To calm his girlfriend down, he pulled the car over to the sidewalk, took her home first, and then returned to his own place. But when he got home, the man still couldn't sleep. He decided to return to the scene to deal with the body he had hit. Realizing it wasn't a human but a strange creature, the man immediately used his machete to behead it, scooped it up, and threw it into the truck bed, taking it home as a trophy. Then, he threw the monster's body into the pit, covered it with dirt, and drove back to town, stopping by the shop of a taxidermist. Not limited to local tales, there is also a wealth of evidence in the form of widely circulated photos and videos documenting encounters with Bigfoot. One of the most famous film clips was shot in 1967 in Northern California by Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin. Just a brief 59.5 seconds, but the clip has sparked intense debates over its authenticity. Is this real or just a staged ploy for views? The footage was filmed around 1 p.m. on October 20, 1967, as the two rode horses across the Bluff Creek area in Louisville, searching for the monster. Whether to call it misfortune or luck, they encountered a giant creature covered in leaves, slowly trudging through the snow. You can easily notice that this creature's gait is completely normal, very similar to that of a human. It showed no fear or discomfort under the unfamiliar gazes following it, even pausing to turn its head and look directly before calmly walking toward the bed. Precisely because not a few people think that no wild animal would walk so calmly like that. Designer Philip Morris bluntly stated that he was the one who sold the Bigfoot costume to Patterson. Later, a man named Bob Hieronymus living in Yakima, Washington also admitted that he was the one hired by Patterson to impersonate the Bigfoot creature. On the other hand, supporters like Professor Jeffrey Meldrum from the University of Idaho argue that the body proportions and limbs of the Bigfoot creature in the Patterson film appear very lifelike, making it hard to believe they could be fake. Although most reports of Bigfoot sightings occur on the west coast of the United States. But the most thrilling encounters took place in Pennsylvania. The first documented record of the mysterious creature Bigfoot in Pennsylvania dates back to 1858. Some witnesses claimed to have seen a large, man-like creature covered in thick fur like a bear. On October 26, 1980, a shocking event occurred in the town of Connemarch, Jonestown, leaving its residents utterly stunned. For the first time, giant footprints were discovered deeply imprinted on the ground. Notably, the foot has up to 6 toes, and the distance between the right and left footprints measures up to 2.4 meters. Nearby residents reported smelling an unusually foul odor. The night before discovering the giant footprints, they also heard strange noises. Another famous example is Paul Freeman's encounter. In 1982, a patrol officer in the U.S. encountered Bigfoot, the legendary creature of folklore. He was utterly shocked to discover the footprints of a monster around the Blue Mountains near Walla Walla in Washington state. Freeman carried a camera and poured plaster into the mysterious footprint to preserve the trace. The incident stirred up public opinion for a long time. Researcher Grover Grant from the University of Washington stated that this could be a Bigfoot footprint because the pattern includes visible tendons and clear indentations on the surface. If this is a fake, how could an ordinary patrol officer so skillfully recreate every tiny detail like this? Even for a professional artist, recreating blood vessels or crafting tiny speckles on a model's skin is no easy task. Even scientists dare not claim that Freeman fabricated the evidence. More than a decade later, Freeman made an even more shocking discovery. During a hike through the forest in 1994, Mr. Badgap witnessed the sight of 2 Bigfoot creatures caring for their young. This time Freeman brought a camera, but the footage he recorded was blurry and rather dull. Therefore, its persuasiveness is no better than the clip by Pat Tien Shan and Gimli LeBau. The mystery surrounding the Bigfoot creature doesn't end there. Another variant that significantly contributes to this creature's fame is the Yeti, the snowman. Simply put, Yeti is just another version of Bigfoot. A mysterious, gigantic creature has appeared in the Cold Peaks mountain range in some northern mountainous regions. According to descriptions, the Yeti is most frequently sighted in the Himalayan regions of the Tibetan Plateau, Nepal, and Bhutan. This creature has the shape of an ape, but is larger than an average person, standing up to 2 meters tall. The story of the Yeti was introduced to the West in the 19th century. Many hypotheses suggest that the Yeti is actually the ancestor of humans. Some even suggest that this could be the last surviving individual of an extinct human species. Like the mysteries that science has yet to uncover. Throughout the 20th century, hunters, explorers, and scientists from the West flocked to Many expeditions have been conducted across the Himalayas in search of this mysterious creature. In 1951, British explorer Eric Shipton discovered and photographed giant footprints imprinted in the snow near the Everest region, and is considered solid evidence of the Yeti's existence. Subsequently, they continued the search and uncovered more specimens such as fur, bones, teeth, and pieces of skin. In the high Himalayan mountains, these specimens are considered crucial evidence that could help clarify the existence of the mythical snowman creature in Asia. Now, what exactly is this? Never before have we had so many opportunities and evidence to uncover the truth about Bigfoot or the Yeti as we do now. So why don't we discuss the existence of Bigfoot from a scientific perspective for a bit? First, from a kinematic perspective. As previously agreed in the earlier part of the video, Bigfoot is not merely an animal species. They appear everywhere in diverse variations, across different climate regions on Earth. Thus, there cannot be just a single organism. There must be tens of thousands of such individuals to ensure diversity in movement and the preservation of the species. Among them, some will surely be killed by hunters, die from illness, or succumb to old age. However, no traces of injuries, bones, or anything else were found. In his monumental book, veteran researcher Grover Grants analyzed what were believed to be traces of hair and a tail. However, no scientist has been able to confirm this with certainty. Returning to the specimens discovered in the Himalayas, in 2017, the research team from the University at Buffalo, New York, USA. The researchers conducted DNA analysis on the most famous specimens believed to belong to the Yeti, or the abominable snowman. The research findings indicate that 8 specimens were discovered in the Himalayas, all of which originated from the brown bear species. There is only one specimen, and it's nothing special either. Scientists have found solid evidence proving that the mythical creature Yeti, the giant snowman, is actually just a brown bear living in the Himalayan region. They are not apes, nor are they humans, and they are certainly not the ancestors of humankind as many have mistakenly believed for centuries. It seemed as though the disputes about the past of the old street would come to an end here. But surprisingly, someone later discovered flaws in the previous research findings. Another group of biologists conducted DNA analysis to verify claims that the fur samples believed to be from the Yeti may actually belong to a bear species previously unknown to science. They found that the DNA in the fur samples was so severely degraded that it was impossible to determine which specific bear species they belonged to. According to the latest research findings published in the Juki's Journal in 2014, Professor Brian Sakes, a genetics expert at Ofos University, discovered that the DNA was extracted from 2 Yeti hair samples collected in the Himalayas. This 40,000-year-old polar bear fossil specimen is a 100% perfect match. But this does not apply to polar bear species that still exist today. According to the analysis by the research team from the University of Copenhagen, the results indicate that this fur sample is not from a polar bear. Meanwhile, Professor Sakes and his colleagues firmly asserted these hairs undoubtedly belong to a species of bear that has never been discovered by science. Developing in the Himalayas, despite the lack of convincing evidence, hope for Bigfoot's existence remains unwavering in the hearts of those who believe in this mysterious creature. But the report lacks a basis, the images are blurry and hard to verify, and the hair sample also cannot provide a clear conclusion. Or perhaps those strange footprints are all they have, until more convincing evidence is found. They will never stop searching to prove that Bigfoot still exists.